we changed it to Make Tech Fun Again.
Well, safe to say, clearly nothing I've had a lot of fun making the phone too, and I think you could have a lot of fun using it, but also, for the first time in a long time, I think Apple might actually be worried. Calling all Android and iPhone fans, I think you might want to watch this whole video. So I've been using the Nothing Phone 2 for about 2 weeks now, and you may have already seen some unboxing and first impression videos, but today I wanted to go into a little bit more detail other than just the specs of what I've experienced so far. A little bit of a more extended hands-on, talking camera, software, battery, etc. And I think barring a couple of things which we'll touch on, Nothing's first entry into the world of premium smartphone flagships, for a lot less money, this smartphone offers such a unique and feature-rich proposition that actually might be the perfect halfway house between Android and the iPhone. When I sat down with Nothing CEO Carl Pei, he made no secret he's an Apple fan.
If Nothing didn't exist, what phone would you be using right now, do you think?
Probably iPhone.
And for a start, for an Android company, I've noticed that their products work so well with Apple ones. Whether that be just using the Nothing earbuds with an iPhone, or using the buds with a MacBook and a Nothing Phone 2, or even AirPods Pro, MacBook, and Nothing Phone 2. The Nothing Apple combination switching between devices seems incredibly seamless and something that we're not really that used to, especially considering the obvious closed Apple ecosystem that we're so well adjusted to. But while the Nothing Phone 2 isn't quite as optimized, obviously, as using a straight iPhone, it's probably one of the best cross-platform devices that I've actually witnessed. Speak of the devil, Apple Watch. On top of that, you get all of the advanced features that Android phones can offer, from customization to new experimental features, and the Nothing Phone 2 certainly has plenty of these, and it almost feels like it's attacking an area of the market that's been so stale for so long. Now, for the first time really since Android began, it feels like we're almost at the start, potentially, of a new third operating system. With Nothing OS 2.0, it makes the phone feel quite possibly like one of the most unique Android phones going, and it's not just being different for different's sake. There's some real functionality here, like the new and improved lock screen. Now, always on displays and widgets are nothing new. Certainly not on the Android side anyway. Shots fired. But with the Phone 2, you can actually fully interact with the customizable icons and widgets so that you never actually have to open your phone. And saving that physical step is incredibly helpful at reducing the time it takes to complete tasks, and I've been using it a lot to toggle Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and aeroplane mode on and off, activating my hotspot and using Google Home and Google Wallet. Also, obviously because of what I do, it cuts down on the needless scrolling on social media whenever I unlock my phone. I go, oh, what's going on over there? And then before you know it, you've lost half an hour. Not ideal when you've got lots of work to do. So because so much of the important information is already available straight from the lock screen, you cut down on quite a lot of excess screen time, and this idea runs right through the UI as a whole. While Nothing OS 2.0 is based on Android 13, so much of it is designed to provide you with as much information as possible with the smallest amount of effort and individual steps, often even without having to open individual apps. Almost like having little windows into the core information in specific apps so that you don't actually have to fully go in. And there are new Nothing design widgets that also offer swipeable levels of info as well. Quick settings can be added, for example, so that you don't have to swipe down from the top, or weather pages are there to scroll through. And from the conversations I had with the software design team when I went down to the Nothing store in London, it feels like Nothing are almost looking to move away from the way we use traditional apps, interacting with them from a seamless surface level so that we don't have to have lots of pages of 20 to 30 apps to go in and out of, but we can just have most things just seamlessly across maybe 2 pages, and we can just jump in and out almost like it's all as one. This could be the biggest change in smartphone ideology since their birth. And you again have additional experimental features that only add to this idea further, from Connect to Tesla, which amongst other things auto-connects your car to your phone's hotspot, potentially saving you paying for Tesla's data packages, support for AirPods that you definitely wouldn't usually see on an Android phone, and Glyph Progress, which offers app progress information and tells you how long things are going to take. If you've been living under a rock in the smartphone game, then the Glyph interface is Nothing's unique LED lighting interface on the back panel of the phone, and can be used to be alerted of notifications, provide charging info, and just generally receiving important information at a flash. Excuse the pun. The Glyph lighting hardware has seen some upgrades from the previous Phone 1, both in design with more lighting segments, and said segments are also more sophisticated to allow for gradients and customizable brightness. It can be dimmed and not so harsh on the eyes in low lighting, and you can use it as a stopwatch timer, volume checker, and portable ring light for those creatives out there. More on video in a second. Now, while the Glyph interface was a really cool addition with the Phone 1, it did definitely lack a little bit of usability, customization, etc. And you definitely get that with the Phone 2. While they could go even further with the idea, there's definitely some added functionality that I think is going to be really helpful for you. Some real world use cases. With the new essential Glyph notifications, you can choose selected contacts or individual apps to send you customizable notifications. These can be set to shine persistently until you interact with them, and this is really great because you know exactly whether something is important or not. And you can create customizable alerts and ringtones for specific contacts and apps as well. So no more social media rabbit holes when you just want to check whether a notification is important or not. The flip to Glyph is still there, where you can place the phone display down on a flat surface to have light-only notifications, no sound, no vibrations, kind of like an instant silent mode. And while currently only Uber is available in the Glyph progress section, there we are led to believe going to be quite a few more added to the roster over time, and I think this is a really cool idea. Once your Uber is booked, you don't actually have to go into the app to see how far away it is. The LED indicator will show you by fading down until it arrives. If you're low on phone battery, for example, this is going to be really helpful because you're not going to constantly be waking your phone, getting that display out, especially at night time when your battery's running low. This could be an absolute lifesaver. And speaking of battery, the 4700 mAh has some serious legs. Sure, a 5000 mAh battery, like quite a few other top flagships have right now, would be ideal, but this still feels like an all-day battery for sure, around 20 to 30% towards the end of the day. The performance of the battery might possibly be aided by the whole monochrome wallpaper and icon pack, which just reaffirms this industrial, clean, efficient feeling, matching the actual hardware to a T. Now, obviously, the overall design is largely very similar to the Nothing Phone 1. There's no denying that. But there have been some fairly subtle but very impressive changes. From all accounts, Carl Pei wasn't happy with the "it looks like an iPhone" flip to Glyph. Do you see that? A little flash? No? Carl Pei apparently wasn't hugely happy, and that might be partially responsible for the added, now ever so slightly curved rear, which does definitely make it look unique, and it feels really comfortable in the hand, more so than the sharp back on the Phone 1. I must admit, the rounded back and square frame combo did throw me off a little bit at first, just simply because I've not really seen another phone manufacturer do this, but it does fit more ergonomically in the hand without detracting from the clean, crisp lines of the flat aluminium frame. It does strangely remind me of the Samsung S6 Edge series of phones, but in reverse. It does on the whole look really nice and premium, although the naturally lighter weight of the aluminium compared to the steel on the iPhone 14 Pro, for example, doesn't feel quite as lavish, and the haptics or vibrations strangely don't feel quite as top tier, and the performance isn't quite as top tier either, with the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1 and not the 2023 $1,000 plus smartphone 8 Gen 2s that are running around. But while they will offer a touch more power, there's not a huge amount in it. To be honest, considering the much lower price tag, talking sometimes £400 plus saving you're going to get here compared to the likes of the Samsung S23 Ultra, Xiaomi 13 Ultra, Honor Magic 5 Pro, for example, I think this chip was a really smart choice. The GPU isn't quite as strong, but the CPU is largely very, very similar indeed. So unless you really want to edit high-end videos or you're a professional gamer, that saving definitely seems worth it for me, because you won't really notice the difference. 80% improvement in overall performance compared to the Phone 1, and app opening speeds that are up to twice as fast. This late 2022 flagship chip is still blazing fast, and it's also allowed Nothing to focus more on camera. The 18-bit ISP captures 4,000 times more data than the Phone 1, and the advanced HDR snaps 8 differing exposure frames to the 3 on the previous gen, and blends them all together into one photo. here are some examples of it working its magic in some fairly difficult conditions. Using an AI scene detector, the Phone 2 also knows when you're in low light and automatically goes into night mode. And while the advanced HDR also works in night mode to reduce noise, night scenes, just in terms of the hardware present, may not quite match up to the likes of the 1-inch sensors of the Xiaomi 13 Ultra, Vivo X90 Pro, etc., expected at this price point. The dual camera rig includes two 50-megapixel wide and ultra-wide Sony IMX890 and Samsung JN1 sensors. The ultra-wide doubles as a 4cm macro, and while the phone does have 2x super res zoom to try and preserve details when you zoom in or crop in, you don't unfortunately get any telephoto camera here for lossless optical zoom shots, which usually adds a significant cost to the overall device. So that is one of the compromises you will face. There is Motion Capture 2.0, which uses AI to detect moving subjects in real time to help try and keep the subject in sharp focus, and the shutter speed across the board is nice and snappy. With OIS and EIS 4K 60, 480 FPS slow-mo, and switchable cameras in certain frame rates mid-recording, it's a pretty complete rear video experience, and while there is unfortunately only max 1080 60 on the front camera, portrait selfies on the 32-megapixel sensor, twice as many as before, can produce this. All from that tiny hole punch in the now bigger, brighter 6.7-inch 120Hz OLED display. This panel's 1600 nits peak brightness is true flagship levels, and the narrower symmetrical bezels look incredible. It's iPhone 14 Pro standards, but with an even better screen-to-body ratio. Seriously impressive. With LTPO technology, the Phone 2 can optimize battery consumption by going down to a refresh rate of just 1 Hz when needed, and you can get a full charge in 55 minutes with 15 watts wireless charging as well, and you can use the back of the phone for charging another device. Premium, dual stereo speakers, an IP54 rating, still an IP rating, 3 years of Android updates, 4 years of security updates every 2 months, and all while continuing to focus on sustainability. 100% recycled aluminium frame, 100% recycled tin on 9 circuit boards, 100% recycled copper foil on the main circuit board, and over 90% recycled steel on all 28 steel stamping parts. 80% of the plastic parts are sustainably sourced, and the retail packaging is plastic-free and made with 60% recycled paper. Considering the overall improvement of the Phone 2, it's incredibly impressive that they've managed to reduce their carbon footprint by 8.6%. So the Phone 2 in almost every department is a straight-up 2023 flagship smartphone. And for those compromises that we touched on, at least $400 cheaper than the bulk of the 2023 remaining flagships, I think they're justified and then some. The Nothing Phone 2 is not perfect, but it is unquestionably the most unique smartphone available on the market. Has features coming out of every crevice and almost feels like the perfect storm of Android and iPhone. Not only is there a feel of traditional stock Android, but also the uniqueness of using an iPhone. And on top of that, considering how well it works with Apple other products, it might be a genuine contender for a new smartphone for even full Apple users. Not only are Nothing continuing to strive to make tech fun again, but the Phone 2 could be the start of something hugely pivotal in the tech game. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you're new to the channel and love everything tech. Follow me on my other social medias for short form content on the Phone 2 and the rest, TikTok, Twitter and Instagram, and now Threads. Who would have thought we got another social media platform? Wunderbar. The German for you there. My name's Adam, you've been the best as always. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. Stay SBYT, peace out.